LSU number 4, Alabama number 7. Alabama at home as a favorite against LSU. The Crimson Tide 7-1, the Tigers 7-0. And it's the 6th meeting since 2008 with both teams ranked in the top 10. Alabama's put together a streak. They've won 4 straight in what was a very tough series in recent years, and there have been 4, count them, 4 overtime games in this series since 2005. Last year's was too. Unbelievable series. When they get together, it's one of the hardest hitting games of the year, always, and it seems to be decided in the 4th quarter. And when you look at this year's matchup, you have to start with the running back matchup. It doesn't get any better than these two guys, Leonard Fournette and Derrick Henry. When you think about who they are, how big they are, how fast they are, and what they're capable of doing, you understand that Derrick Henry is one of the only guys you can even put in a conversation with Leonard Fournette, Brian, because Henry's that good, but Fournette is unparalleled. He's simply the best. Well, and this is an illustration.
Absolutely. And you know what? Here's an example where you might be able to contain Leonard, okay, 7, 8 times, but he's going to break one. And Henry's got that same ability. I mean, these guys are definitely, and it's not anything, we're not breaking new ground here, but they'll be playing in the NFL big time, and they're going to both have impacts in the NFL. Here's another example. Look at this. Just a quick shift of his hips, and he's gone. He throws him right there, 10-5, touchdown Leonard. And look, and I said it last week, Kenny, and I think this. I really think that Henry and Fournette are going to be a wash. One may outgain the other, and one may have one more touchdown than the other, but I think that the game's going to be won elsewhere.
He's special, no question. This kid has it all, speed, size, power. He's a special player, and of course, when you think about Leonard Fournette, you understand, Ricky, how talented this guy is. He's brilliant.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you know, a back like that come along every blue moon. And yeah. I mean, he got that it, what they call it, you know, the Herschel Walker, the Earl Campbells, the Tony Doss, and you don't find that too often.
And then, on the other side, there's Derrick Henry, and this kid is awfully good as well. I thought he should have gotten the ball more last year against Ohio State, and here's why. He's got size, he's got that unbelievable burst. Looks familiar, doesn't it, Brian?
Yeah, it sure does. And look, he's quite capable of taking over a game as well. In fact, if I'm one of these running backs, I want to be Derrick Henry running into LSU's defense as opposed to the other way. Again, you know, these guys, I think they're still both going to get 100 yards the way this game's going to develop.
And I like Henry, but Fournette got a lot more top-end speed. But Henry's powerful and he's fast, but to me, Fournette got a little more shake, and a little more bake, and a little more top-end speed.
And you know, he'll run over you. Yeah. Leonard will run over you. Derrick is going to be a little bit more elusive, try to, you know, juke you a little bit, but Leonard's got both of those abilities, and that's what makes this game and these guys so special.
Let's talk about one other matchup in this game that I think is going to tell the tale. Jake Coker, Cooper Bateman against Brandon Harris. Who has the edge there?
I'll tell you what, I've been leaning, and we're going to make our picks on this. Brandon Harris, he's going into a very hostile environment. He's done most of his success this year has been at Tiger Stadium. The only other element that I would say, or the only other comparable game that I'll put him in, was at the Auburn game last year, and he was not very good. But you know, he's a much more seasoned player now. He's got 7 game starts, good starts under his belt. But he's never played in an environment that he's going to play in Saturday night. And so I'm not sure still how he's going to be able to react in that spotlight.
Straighten him out, Rick.
I think Harris got to run a little more in this game. You can see he wanted to be a pocket passer, but one thing about Alabama, they're going to bring a lot of pressure. And one thing about Alabama quarterback, I think Coker Moore got a better deep ball than intermediate ball. So if LSU let him throw the deep ball, LSU going to be in trouble because that's his best weapon, his arm strength.
I believe Brandon Harris is the X factor in this game because Alabama is very physical up front on defense, always have been, and Nick Saban is a great coach, and they're going to be bent on stopping Leonard Fournette. They're going to try to take your best player away. I don't think you can stop him for 4 quarters. He'll make a play at some point, but I think they're going to stack him up, and as a result, it's incumbent upon Brandon Harris to make plays. LSU is going to have to give him an opportunity to make those plays with his arm or with his feet. And to that end, maybe bootlegs would be a good idea off of play action to give him that opportunity to get to the perimeter. While Alabama is big and physical, they don't move all that well east and west defensively, or at least as well as some people, like LSU's defense does, because that's not the kind of players they typically recruit. So as a result, you like to stretch the field against their defense like Ole Miss did and had their way with Alabama's defense. LSU, I'm sure, watched that. That's not LSU's personality, but you can take some things from it, and I think that that's what they have to do in this particular game. The Tulane Green Wave started off like a house of fire against undefeated Memphis, and it didn't last. Tulane led 13-0 in this game. And then the Tigers scored 41 unanswered points to win 41-13. Dontrell Hilliard had a nice game for Tulane. Paxton Lynch, the guy's in the conversation for the Heisman that he should be. He's a tremendous quarterback for Memphis. Listen, Tulane came out, had a drive of over 11 minutes and scored a touchdown with Jordy Joseph at quarterback. Then they scored again. Of course, they had an extra point block, so what else is new? And then they botched a snap on a punt, and then they had trouble on kick coverage again. It's the worst special teams unit in the history of college football. I'm not exaggerating. It's a continual theme for 3 years. How can you be this bad for so long?
How could you not recruit help during the offseason?
You can't snap a ball to a punter.
Kenny,
and when you do, he drops it.
I know.
And then you can't cover a kick. And then you get kicks blocked. And then you miss kicks.
And then you try to catch a ball, a kickoff in the end zone, and it bounces out, and you fall on the one.
Then you have to go fall on the one.
And then you throw a safety, intentional grounding. No, I'm with you on that. But look, let's just dwell on the positive for a moment. You alluded to it, Kenny. 17-play drive, 80 yards, 11-13 off the clock to open the game. I'm going.
I watched it, and they executed beautifully.
It was incredible. And I go, Jordy Joseph, where have they been hiding this young man, But, we finally got there. Look, 6 losses. They've been outscored 204 to 61. And this is my biggest complaint with CJ, real quick. Biggest complaint is that 6 losses is one thing, but you can't get beat like that.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Curtis is a wide receiver coach. But just looking at the game, I mean, they need to do that 4 times in the game. They need to have the ball 11 minutes for 4 times. They would have won the ball game. Otherwise, Memphis got the better team.
Oh, absolutely.
We know that. But Tulane played them a lot better than I thought they would play.
All right, if you're going to get better, keep recruiting better players, you might want to look at these schools, because we've got our first NBC Bank Prep Showcase continuing with a dynamite matchup, district championship on the line. 2 of the best teams in the state of Louisiana, the Lutcher Bulldogs and the De La Salle Cavaliers. And you can watch it Saturday at noon on WHNO TV 20, live Friday night at 7 on sportsNOLA.com. What a game it's going to be. And then right after that, a special edition of the first NBC Prep Showcase, wrestling. It's Jesuit in St. Paul's from John Ryan Stadium, outdoors. And we're looking forward to that as we continue to bring you all prep sports here on WHNO as well as sportsNOLA.com. So what a special weekend it's going to be. Speaking of special, a matchup that people have been waiting for 50 years. It finally happened. The Rummel Raiders and the John Curtis Patriots. Jay Roth, JT Curtis, and John Forcade's happy. That's his nephew Chase. Quarterback draw a touchdown to give the Raiders the early lead. They really control the line of scrimmage and control the game, but turnovers really made this a closer game. Here's the one play Curtis had. Devon Ben going left, and defensive end got caught inside. Extremely well blocked. Patriots tie the game 7-7, and game on at that point. And then this kid here, Derrick Munson, best player on the field. What a fantastic play, Brian.
I'll tell you what, he'll be playing at the next level as well. Look at this. Play like this, you wanted him to score. I mean, that's just the way it turned out.
Great effort by Marquise Albert, who's unbelievably fast to run him down.
Yeah.
And then, of course, on the next play, Izzy Tucker is into the end zone for the Raiders, and they're up 14-7. Look at these big kids. This is an unbelievably physical game. And then 4K clinches the game with this quarterback draw. Beautiful call by Jay Roth. Well executed. It was wet, raining. It was windy. So, Ricky, ball security's important there. That was a great call. Jay Roth and JT Curtis. Cleanly played game. 2 great coaches. Second winningest coach in America. And Jay Roth ties Bob Conlon for the all-time record in the Catholic League with 203 wins. And he's done it quietly in 21 years. What a great coach.
And I'll tell you what, though, you love to see those 2 teams play each other. Over the years, they should have been playing each other a lot more, you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of tough schools. John Curtis played all those schools. There would have been a great rivalry.
Kenny, you had a great stat in your story on sportsNOLA.com. Patriots have not lost 2 district games since 1974 when they went 3-3-3. They're finishing with 3-2 after the loss the other day. And That speaks volumes about one, Curtis's program, but how good Rummel is.
Back to talk about the Pelicans when we return in a moment on sportsNOLA.com and WHNO.